Good morning. This is Katie Friedman from Unitrends. I'd like to welcome you to our live session covering Is Your Business Doomed by Backup and Recovery Complexity? Before we begin today, I did want to give you a couple of housekeeping notes. As you may have already noticed, we do have all attendees in listen-only mode. With this in mind, we do welcome your questions throughout today's presentation. However, we do ask that you utilize the Q&A functionality from the WebEx toolkit, which you will find by selecting the icon with the question mark from the drop-down menu near the middle top of your screen if you have that view, or from the upper right-hand corner of your screen if you have that view. Please make sure to address all questions to all panelists so that we can answer your questions as quickly as possible. With those details taken care of, I did want to go ahead and introduce our presenter for today. Today we have Dave LaPierre, who is our VP of Product Marketing. Dave?
Thank you, Katie, and thank you for everyone who's attending today's session. So today's session really is an extension of a webinar series we've been running for a little while now around our new rules of recovery, which is a series of webinars we've been doing on different topics, really talking about how backup and recovery is really changing in the face of modern IT. But in today's invitation that we sent out for today's webinar, we kind of outlined an interesting scenario. We said it's 2 a.m. on your first day of vacation since the last Olympics and your mobile phone rings. And unfortunately, it's your boss. Your critical systems are down, you've had some data loss, you actually have some downtime event happening. And we kind of posed the question, and is this the time that you're going to find out whether your system, your continuity solution, meets our 7 rules of recovery? And is it easy enough for someone besides yourself as the IT administrator? Could your boss actually be able to recover without a manual and without a lot of training for your system? And as we outlined our 7 new rules, we listed number 2 as it should be so easy your boss can do it, to really highlight the importance of an intuitive user experience. And the use case that we defined in our invite to this session, as well as this second rule, really was kind of designed to be attention grabbing. But the reality of it is that usability is a critical aspect of any continuity system. So today we're going to walk through some of the reasons why, and it's not just your boss should be able to do your backups. There's really a lot more towards this rule that really makes it one of the more important rules that we laid out in our new rules. And it's not just us saying this. The industry feedback on backup and recovery is very clear. It needs to improve. If you look at a recent survey from ESG where they outlined the 10 most important IT priorities, improving backup and recovery was in the 2nd slot. And other things related to continuity, such as continuity and disaster recovery programs, were also listed in the top 10. Most recently, Gartner, in the Data Center Backup Software Magic Quadrant, had this to say. They said organizations are also voicing opinion that backup needs to improve a lot, not just a little bit. The ongoing frustration with backup implies that data protection approaches of the past may no longer be sufficient in meeting current, much less future recovery requirements, which is the reason why we think people need to start thinking differently about how they back up their data, how they recover their data, how do they recover their systems, how they do DR, and really how they do business continuity for their entire enterprise. And usability is a key aspect of that. When we talk about usability and user experience, it matters for any product. It's a reason why so many people love Apple products. They're very intuitive, they're very easy to use, they have a great user experience. It doesn't require a lot of training. You can see it if you have seen any toddler working with an iPad. It's not a lot of training going on there. It's very intuitive. People from that are very inexperienced to very experienced have a pleasant experience with the user experience of those products. So when we talk about the benefits of a good user experience and good usability, we're talking about having something that is very intuitive, that allows you to basically complete the necessary tasks without a lot of lost effort and to be able to have it be very seamless experience. It should also help you minimize steps, make you be more efficient, minimize errors. It should also increase your confidence that you're doing the right thing, that you're not doing something wrong as you work with a solution. So when we talk about UI, typically we're talking about the more technical aspects of it, actually performing specific tasks. When we talk about user experience, we're talking generally about a more emotional connection. How do I feel using the product? Am I confident using it? Do I feel like this is a solution that's empowering me? But user experience really matters for backup and continuity solutions. Having a solution that is difficult is something that can actually get in your way, not only in keeping your business protected, but could actually be an impediment to you getting your daily job done. And we really want backup and continuity to be something that always works, but we also want it to be able to drop into the background of your work life. It's not something we want you to have to think about all the time. It could just work. It should be able to run using a lot of automation and use things like automated reporting and recovery assurance technologies to let you know that things are working properly and that you're 100% covered. Some of the other reasons why we think having an intuitive user experience is so important is we're seeing changes happen in IT due to flat budgets and architectural changes in IT. The days of having kind of a dedicated backup resource are long gone, even for large organizations. Matter of fact, this recent survey from ESG basically said 78% of IT professionals believe the traditional backup administrator role will change significantly or be gone completely in the future. And for many enterprises, that's already happened. Backup is now simply one of the tasks that has to be performed by IT administrators responsible for other things, such as virtualization, database, other applications, or other parts of the infrastructure. And as admins multitask more and more frequently, it's imperative to have a solution that's highly intuitive, and one that you can essentially throw the manual away. Most likely, these multitasking admins are not in their backup and recovery tools every single day, the way a dedicated backup admin would have been in generations past. Therefore, it's important for these tools to be easy to use and as intuitive as possible. It's simply not practical to have a complex UI tool that may only get touched every few weeks. If you have to reference a manual to remember how to do something every single time you want to do something, such as create a new backup job or recover a file, that's not efficient. That's actually going to be preventing you from getting your jobs done. It's certainly not making your life any easier. So we really want to have a solution that allows us to throw away the manual for most of those routine jobs. An effective UI also allows us to actually have an impact on business costs. It allows us to reduce the amount of money we have to spend correcting things. It reduces training costs. We don't have to spend lots of times training on tools, and it certainly reduces support costs as well. It should be something that is intuitive, is essentially guiding you to the right answer. One of the concepts when we talked about our own user experience here was we wanted to basically be able to move people from spending time at work to quality time at work. And what we mean by this is probably best summed up by a quote that was in a blog a couple years back called Future Shock that actually talked about what real work and what real accomplishment means in a business. And a lot of the things that we do really aren't the end result. You know, we're not talking about adding a printer driver or formatting a margin of a document or doing patches. While those are necessary tasks, the real work of our business really is around, if we're in education, making sure that a child's getting taught. If we're in healthcare, making sure that a doctor's able to treat a patient. If you're in an architecture firm, being able to make sure that you're able to get your grand designs done on time and efficiently out. We want to make sure that backup doesn't become an impediment to actually getting the necessary jobs done in IT that empower our businesses. So if we're spending too much time because our solution is too complex, we're not accomplishing as much as we possibly could. We'd much rather have an intuitive backup and recovery solution that is able to work seamlessly to allow IT to focus on more important projects, focus on that key projects that are going to move your business forward with a new product offer or a way of actually making your constituents more efficient. Another key aspect of UI design is measured in error rates. And what we mean by error rates is when you're operating in a particular solution, does the user choose the right thing? Do they go to the right menu? Do they click on the right button? I talked about Apple being a great user experience. I'll use a counterpoint for something that I don't think is a great user experience. I don't think, for example, Microsoft Excel has a great user experience. For basic tasks, it's very simple to use. But think about how often people are trying to do a task in the Microsoft Office applications and they click on the wrong menu. They're trying to do something and they're trying to figure out where to go. And they frequently click on the wrong menu, they click on the wrong button, and they have to kind of hunt and search for the particular functionality that they want. That's kind of what UI designers consider a usability error rate. The user may eventually kind of get to the right thing, but if they have to take 3 or 4 false paths before they get to the right answer, that's not a great UI. Users using great user experiences always make the right choice. Even if there's multiple paths to kind of complete the same task, they still always do something that's intuitive to them and get to the right answer. And that's under normal routine circumstances. Error rates we've seen through research in multiple industries increase dramatically under stress, even for routine tasks that people do on a regular basis. When we get stressed, when pressure builds, those are the times when people start to tense up and they start to make even more errors. Error rates tend to go up by almost a factor of 10 when we're operating under great stress. And unfortunately, by the nature of the tool, if we're doing a recovery task or we have a disaster going on and we're trying to use our disaster recovery solutions, those tend to be very stressful situations. We're nervous. Are we going to be able to get our data back? Can I get my business back online? Time's ticking. There's a lot of stress going on there. So having a very intuitive solution for backup and recovery is absolutely critical. And finally, we want to be able to use automation as much as possible. Automation not only frees us up to do other tasks, not having to do routine tasks over and over again, but it also makes sure that our tasks are being done on a consistent basis over and over again. And we want to automate with our backup and continuity solutions as much as we possibly can. Backup the running of backup jobs. Backup moving copies of your backups off-site to a cloud. Backup, automate the creation of recovery reports and testing of your backups in DR. If we could automate all those things, again, it does an awful lot to creating a more powerful user experience. So getting specifically into unit trends, we are redefining recovery to be more about continuity for the business. And this shows up if you look at what we basically say is our mission statement. We say we're here for the IT leaders, pros, and change makers and visionaries who understand that in today's digital world, protecting their ideas and keeping their business running, whatever life throws at them, is non-negotiable. And the way we've been going about this is through what we're calling our connected continuity platform. So we've taken all the different solutions that we have, all the cloud-empowered continuity solutions for backup, disaster recovery, and recovery assurance, and we put them into a single platform that includes everything you need for continuity planning, all the backup tools, whether it's a physical backup appliance or a virtual appliance that runs on hardware of your choice, as well as cloud continuity solutions that for cloud backup, DRAS, et cetera. All that has been put into a platform wrapped with complete recovery assurance technologies that are able to validate that your backup and recovery and continuity environment are working properly, all supported by an awesome set of services and support for our customers and partners. That's all wrapped up into our connected continuity platform. We think this platform approach and some of the things that we've done to tie our solutions together, whether you're looking for just basic local backup or something that goes all the way through cloud backup and disaster recovery as a service, doing this all within a single platform with a single user interface empowers our users to basically have not only flexibility and choice of how they deploy things, but also gives them a path forward to solve their problems for today as well as for tomorrow. So when we talk about our connected continuity platform, there's really 4 pillars that we want to deliver to our customers. We want to protect everything you have, whether it's virtual, physical, or cloud-based systems. We want to be able to deliver continuity wherever you need it, whether it's in your primary location, in a secondary site, in the Unitrends cloud, or a hyperscale cloud like Amazon or Google or Microsoft Azure. Wherever you need continuity, we want to be able to deliver it. We want to be able to guarantee your recovery and continuity. So it's one thing just to back up your data, but we also want to be able to assure you that your backup and DR environments are working properly. And do that all within a single intuitive platform, as I stated earlier. So when we look at the user experience that we provide with the Unitrends user experience in our products, we've designed it to be simple and help you get your job done as easily as possible. We want to make it simple as well so that you have confidence that you're always doing the right thing and that your system's set up properly. And we do this in a way that is almost an expandable user interface. It's designed so that it works and is natural to both a novice user who's using the solution for the first time, as well as an expert user. Essentially, more complex tasks get exposed naturally kind of as the user interface expands. We spent a lot of time developing this new user interface over the past few years, and it's in all of our products, including our physical appliances as well as our software products today. One of the things that we also focused on to try and make things as easy and as simple as possible is to try to reduce the number of steps it takes to perform any particular task. This is one particular example of actually performing a backup, but we have similar charts as this for other tasks such as recovery, deployment, things of that nature. And you can see we actually worked very much on reducing the number of clicks it takes to actually perform any task. So to do a backup task in our interface takes 5 clicks. In a typical competitor, that takes 14 clicks or more. And what you'll find is on average, we're between 50 and 64% more efficient in our user interface as far as the number of steps it takes to perform a particular task. And the other thing that we deliver is the ability to have recovery assurance, as I talked about. So a little bit more on that, and the reason why we say that guarantees recovery is it allows you to have absolute certainty in your ability to recover, is we provide recovery assurance that automatically tests your backups and disaster recovery environments, whether they're running in VMware, Hyper-V, or even physical Windows systems, whether they're running in-premise or in our cloud. And what we do is we validate that your applications are fully recoverable, and we basically generate certified recovery points that validate that a particular set of backups, a particular configuration in your DR environment is able to recover. And we test it not just at the base VM level that it booted. We actually validate at the application level that if you have a multiple tiered application that crosses multiple VMs, we can test across the entire application that it's functioning properly, so that you can have 100% confidence that you're going to be able to recover when you need to rely on that environment in the event of a downtime event. This is a quick snapshot of our user interface. It's designed to be a high-level dashboard that allows you to quickly get an idea of what's going on in your environment, allows you to dive quickly into creating new jobs, whether it's protection or recovery jobs, as well as see what's going on with your entire environment. Now, unfortunately, today we have a very short webinar. I don't have time to kind of do a full demo. So I do want to put out a call to action for you to actually take the next step and experience what this user interface actually has to offer. We have a few different ways of doing that. One, you can go to our website at unitrends.com today, and you can download a free trial of Unitrends Enterprise Backup. You can get a free 30-day trial for that. Or if you only want to test in a small environment of less than 1 terabyte, we also have a free version of our product called Unitrends Free that you can have and use in a small environment or a lab forever. It's not time-bound. It's not limited in the number of VMs. It's just simply limited to environments of 1 terabyte or smaller. But that's probably the best way to experience the UI. Get a copy of it, play around with it. If you're not quite ready to do that, we certainly want you to see the benefits of this. You can watch a live demo. I put the URL here, but you can find it easily on our website as well. You can register to attend one of our live demos that we do multiple times a week, and you can see one of our experts walk you through the user interface, ask them additional questions about the solution, et cetera. We'd also invite you to actually have a conversation one-on-one with one of our continuity experts. We actually have a program going that allows you to actually get $50 for simply having a 15-minute conversation with us. The URL for this, pages.unitrends.com/50for15. If you sign up for that and you have a conversation about your needs for backup and disaster recovery with our experts, we will give you a gift card for $50. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up, and we're going to move to a question and answer session if there are any questions that came in during the few minutes that I was talking.
There are a couple questions today. The first one is, what is the one thing, if I can only do one thing, that you would recommend to improve our backup?
Well, I would say move to Unitrends as the first answer. But in all seriousness, I think the best thing that you can do is really look at a solution that does allow you to automate more of the solution. We talk with many people that are on legacy backup solutions that are still doing things that require a lot of manual intervention, putting backups on tape, moving those tapes off-site, hoping that they're going to work when they come back. With a modern solution like Unitrends Enterprise Backup or one of our recovery series appliances, you can automate so much of that. You can automate your backups and have a single tool that protects your entire environment, physical, virtual, that's getting your data off-site. So if you need a secondary copy off-site for either long-term retention or just the need to actually have some geographic separation for a second copy of your backup, you can automate all that very easily using our Unitrends Cloud. And in addition, you can also automate the testing, as I was talking about with recovery assurance, and actually have a report emailed to you on a regular basis that proves your backups are good, we've tested them, your DR environment's good. You can go home at night, you can go on that vacation, not have to worry about being able to recover. So, I think that's probably the one thing. Make sure you're not suffering on old technology. Get on the latest solutions. There really has been a lot of evolution in the backup and DR space within the last couple of years, particularly around automation.
All right. Our next question is, what do you feel is more complex, managing tapes or managing a public cloud like Google?
I think managing tapes is probably more complex, although for many people it's more familiar because it's what many people have been doing for a long time. We have pretty simple ways of actually moving backup to a public cloud, whether it's Google or AWS. But if you're intimidated by actually using a hyperscale public cloud, you don't want to use AWS or Google, the Unitrends Cloud is a great way to get started. You know, we have a public cloud that is purpose-built to operate with our appliances, that's designed for backup and long-term retention. All you have to do is engage with your Unitrends sales team, tell them, you know, how much data you want to protect. We only charge you for the data you protect. We actually don't charge you for the amount of storage that is consumed in the cloud. It's a little bit different model than a lot of other people. And from there, it's very easy in our user interface to basically just create another backup copy job that basically will move copies of your backup to the Unitrends Cloud. And that's a great first step if you want to get started with cloud backup. And if at some point in the future you're interested in going to AWS or Google or Azure, you know, we support those as well. So if you don't have to kind of jump into a hyperscale cloud solution right off the bat if you're not ready to, but you're kind of future-proofed with our solution because we support both the purpose-built Unitrends Cloud as well as those public clouds that come from the big boys as well.
All right, and then this may be our final question unless somebody's holding on to one out there. I'm considering using a deduplication appliance and a backup solution. Are there any benefits to doing that versus using a backup solution that has integrated deduplication in it?
Well, if you're going to be using a dedupe appliance, it's definitely, you're spending a lot of money. And the deduplication that you're essentially getting in, you know, a Unitrends appliance, it is very good and it's very efficient. We actually have what we call our adaptive deduplication engine, which we updated just in our last release, that gives you the option of doing multiple different ways of deduping data. We're essentially content aware of the type of data that we're deduping, and we will use different techniques to basically be as optimal as possible, whether it's inline or post-processing. We also, if you use one of our physical appliances that's 1U or higher, we're also very efficient with our deduplication and our moving data into the backup appliances because we essentially have a tiered cache of SSD drives in those appliances that we use as part of kind of some of the hash tables and things like that. So the beauty of a physical backup appliance is you kind of have an all-in-one solution. You don't have to kind of bring everything together from multiple vendors and hope it all works, and if something goes wrong, wonder about who you're going to call. You can get an all-in-one appliance from one vendor like Unitrends that really kind of gives you the benefit of all those without having to source it all yourself.
All right, well, that looks like that was our final question. Looks like maybe we got a last-minute one here. Hold on. Are there any limitations or examples of customers who haven't been able to customize a backup solution as much as they would like? What kind of problems have you or they run into?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, are there any limitations or examples of customers who haven't been able to customize your backup solution as much as they would like? If so, what kind of problems have you or they run into?
I think, you know, different backup solutions handle probably scalability in different ways. So I think it really comes down to having a conversation with your backup kind of sales engineer on kind of what you're looking to do. I think there are situations where, in all honesty, Unitrends will tell you we may not be the right solution for you. You know, if you have a very large MDMP environment and you know, you're looking to do, we support NDMP, but if that's your main source and you have a super, super large environment, we might not be the best solution for you. So I think what people tend to get into trouble with is when they try to perhaps fit a round peg in a square hole. And most of the backup solutions, I'll put Unitrends, but I'll say every single backup vendor out there has their strengths and weaknesses. I'd like to think that Unitrends has very few weaknesses, but there are one or two that you know, we will, if you present us with an opportunity, we may say we might not be the right solution for you. But that's a conversation I would say, you know, have with your sales experts, your sales engineers, and such.
And then, how many different operating systems does Unitrends protect?
Today, at last count, we're at 220, 230 different versions of hypervisors, operating systems, and applications that we support. Chances are, if you're running it in your enterprise, whether it's Windows, Linux from you name the distribution, legacy Unix systems, et cetera, there's a very high likelihood we support it. We've been doing backup for a very long time, so we support natively those physical systems out of the box for a large number of operating systems. And we support a very wide variety of hypervisors as well, whether it's Hyper-V, VMware, Citrix Zen Server. Those are all supported with kind of agentless host-level backup. But even hypervisors like KVM and others that have been popular, we can support as well. We just, in some cases, will use agents to protect the workloads instead of actually doing it at the host level. So there's very few things that we're unable to protect in our environment. It's one of our strengths.
And then where does pricing start for the solution?
Pricing starts, well, if you want to say we start it free, with Unitrends free, that's a very legitimate answer. Our software solution starts, we have essentially 5 editions of our software solution, starting with free, but we have an Essentials version, a Standard Edition, Enterprise, and Enterprise Plus. These are outlined on a product page. And if you look at our Essentials Edition, I think it starts at $299 per socket for virtualized environments. And on our appliances, we have appliances that scale. I think there's 14 models that go from 1 terabyte of data at a very low price up to very large appliances with almost 200 terabytes of data. So really, we have something that can fit just about anybody's need and price point.
And then this may be our final question. Are there any plans to increase the capacity of the appliances at the high end in the near future?
We're always looking at new appliances, looking at the market demand for them. We came out with our 946 appliance that actually pushed up the level several months ago to raw storage. You know, we're nearing 200 terabytes. You know, we are looking at other large appliances. There's a refresh of things that we're always looking at. So it's really kind of based on market need. So if we see demand for it, I'm sure we will create larger ones.
All right, well, that does look like that was our final question of the day. We do want to thank everybody again for their time and interest in Unitrends. We do look forward to following up with each and every one of you after today's call, and hope you have a great afternoon.